Good morning, everyone. Let's begin our class today. So, what we have done in the last session, we have run our first program in Hadoop, right? We have run our first program in Hadoop, and let's revisit that program once again in a very fast manner so that you can come to know what we have done in last program. Today, we are going to see two new topics. First one is partitioner, second one is combiner. Okay, first one is partitioner, second one is combiner, right? Okay, so let's start. So in last program, what we have seen, we have made one project BDMFGI, and inside this, we have made three programs. First one is a driver code. So driver code, it has this mapper class, reducer class. Driver code means it will drive our program. It has this main method. And we have a mapper class as well as reducer class. You see mapper class, we have long writable text. We know last session we understood all these things. What are the variables and map function? It takes value to string, splits it, it takes length greater than 0, gives the output. And reducer takes some again text from where from mapper and process it, combines the output. And all these things we have to write on mapper class as well as reducer class. Okay. So now our next job is our next topic is partitioner. So what is partitioner first of all, and how it works? So before that, let me show you the something like. Okay, let me show you here. Okay, I think it's not shared. Let me share this Word file. First of all, let me explain you what is partitioner. Then we'll come to this code part, right? Now you see, we were getting output like this. High, how many times high we were getting? Let's say 5 times. Then how many times how we were getting? How we are getting? Let's say 2 times. Let's say how many times this is there? Let's say 10 times. Okay, and it's gone. It's gone like this. Okay, now what partitioner will do? Let's say this kind of output we have. This output is like this is just a sample output, right? This is just a sample output. Now output we have lakhs of let's say uh, not lakhs. We have crores of this kind of format. We get high comma 5, how comma 2, is comma 10. I mean, how many words are there? That many words output we are getting. Okay, and all these things will be kept given by reducer. Okay, it's given by reducer. Now, what if we want this? Let's say which word comes 2 times only? that output only. We need that kind of output only. How do we do that? So that we can come to know that this word comes 2 times only. Okay, we need to figure it out. Which word comes 5 times only? So like hi is there, it comes 5 times. So yeah, we can do that. I mean, we can partition it, right? So let me draw it here. Let's say I want the word comes with the 5 times. Words comes with 5 times. I want that in one file. I want that in a one file. File.txt. Okay. Now, second option is this word comes with the 2 times only. Word comes with the 2 times only. Now you see a lot of things we are reducing. We are reducing analysis time. After that, also we need to analyze which word comes more times, which word comes less time. So we are reducing all these things. File 1.txt. This word comes 5 times. This word comes 2 times. Okay. This is like 2 times. And again, the word this is comes 10 times. If I want to map it and I want to put it like those words comes with the 10 times, I want to put in a separate file, that is file 2.txt, like that. So this is the logic behind partitioner thing. Okay, so we are partitioning the output based on our logic. Again, what based on our logic. Okay, fine. So that's what we are supposed to do. That's what we are supposed to do. Okay. Okay. Now let's come back to this our ID here and let's see how do we do programming of partitioner program. So let me share ID screen. Okay. Now you see we got already 3 programs: driver code, mapper code, and reducer code. Driver code, mapper code, and reducer code. So next is a partitioner program we need to make. Next we need to make partitioner program. Okay. So for that I'm going to make one more class, give name as a my partitioner. Okay. And I'm going to make one program. Let me make one program. New Java class my partitioner. In which package? I mean this my partition has to be in same package. Okay. So it comes with some boilerplate code. That means some code is written. We can remove these comments so that we can see the clean code here. My partitioner. Now it extends MapReduce partitioner class. Extends. Let me have some help. Partitioner. Okay, first we need to import something. So we need to import uh, org.apache.hadoop dot MapReduce dot partitioner. Yes. Extends now. Partitioner, yes, here. It's a key and value. So what partitioner will get as an input will take input as a key and value pair. So from where it takes? Okay, so let me tell you, it takes input from reducer. Takes input from reducer. So what is the output of reducer? It's a text, comma, int writable. Text, comma, int writable. Why it's giving me? It's not able to find. So I need to import something. Import for this text as well as int writable. So all this comes in a IO file, org.apache.hadoop.io. This IO is there. Dot text. Yes. Now error will be gone. Again, import org.apache.hadoop.io int writable. Third option. Okay, now you see the PIME partitioner, it takes output from the reducer. So as I told you, what is our logic? Our logic is to again pass the reducer output to partitioner class. So based on our logic, it will partition our output. Simple, it partitions our output. Okay. Now it has one method. Okay. Meanwhile, if you have any doubt, write down chat box. If you have any doubt, write down chat box. Okay. Takes one function. So for that, what is that? We have to implement all abstract methods. Okay. It has one this method, get partition. Let me remove this unsupported exception line. Now you see, it takes one argument as a key. This key will come as a this here, and the value an integer I. Okay. How many partitions we want? Fine. So its return type is integer. So we have not done any return type. That's why it's gave me a little bit error. Fine. So okay. First of all, based on the key. Now my logic is based on the key. I'm going to divide. So for what is that? String s is equal to key is what? It's a text box class. First, I need to convert to primitive class. So key dot to string, right? After that, key dot to string. So once what happens? What is key comes here? Let's say hi comes. Hi is my key. After that, how will come. So hi is my key. Now based on the key length. Now here logic is different. The logic we have put what? The logic was based on the value count. Okay. Now here what we'll do instead of value count we'll do based on the key count. We'll be doing. So let's count the key. So how do we count the key? If s dot length equal 1, what we want to do, we want to give return 0. That means it will go to my first partition. If my key length is 1, let's say if any character like a comes, its length is 1, will return 0. If s dot length is 2, let me just copy paste this. then it goes to my first partition. If s dot length is 3, goes to my next partition, right? So up to 3 characters, let's see. Up to 3 characters we count. Else return 3. Now, why I have written this? Now you see how many partitions we require. So now let's say I require only 3 partitions. I require only 3 partitions. So s dot length is equal to 1, returns 0. S dot length is equal to 2, it returns 1. Length is equal to 3, it returns 2. So now, what if any key comes with a value more than 3? Let's say key comes like this string. The key we are providing as a string here. What's the length of string? You see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What if this 6 character long word comes? Where do we put? So if we are not putting in these 3 partitions, we have to define one more partition which is default. So apart from this 3, we have one more partition, that is default partition. And what we are going to do, we are going to define that partition here. Okay. Yes. So we are defining one more partition where all others string will go there. Fine. So this is my partitioner class, simple partitioner class. What next thing I need to do? I need to go to my driver class here, and in driver class I need to define my partitioner class. What is my partitioner class? So let me save. This is my driver class. After this, after output again, I need to define my partitioner class. After output again, I need to define my partitioner class. So job dot set partitioner class, and here what is my partitioner class? My partitioner class, right? So I'm telling that after reducer also there is one more class is there. And how many partitions we need to set? Job dot set num reducer, set num. How many tasks we need to give? 4 tasks. In my partition gives, 4 tasks I need to define. Okay. Why, you might be asking, sir, why we are giving 4? You see, in this code, first partition is for what? String key value is equal to 1. Key value is equal to 2, it goes to second partition. Key value is equal to 3, it goes to next partition. And apart from this, any key comes, we can send it to this partition. Okay. So this is the task. That's why we are giving 4. So if you are defining 3 here, and again in partition class, you are giving only 3 partition, it will throw you an error. It will throw you an error. Why? Because what if some string anomaly comes, and where that output has to go? Fine. So what we have to define here. Fine. Anything is left? Let me check. Hmm. Okay, nothing is left. Everything is done. So partition class we have defined. Simple logic. Let's see how this partition works. I first need to share. Okay, just hold on. I shared my entire screen. So now let's start with the terminal. Let's start first of all Hadoop. So first I'll be writing JPS, which Java-based services are running. One is JPS, one is main. So let me go to the Hadoop. Where is my setup? Hmm. It's in my cd user local bin Hadoop, and here cd s bin, and here one command is there, start -all.sh to start all the services. Start -all.sh, start all the services. It's demanding password from me. Setup is not done properly, that's why. Starting name node. Starting data node. Content name node. Okay, let me write down JPS. Yes, name node, data node is there. Okay, as you can see. So everyone is following me. Just write down chat box yes or no. Everyone is following me properly. What I said about partition class and everything. So pay attention. Very very important for exam point of view. You are supposed to write program in your exam also. Fine. So once we start, what next we need to do? Okay, let's check which file we need to process. So what we do, we go here, localhost 50070. Let it come here. So name node is here, and let's see which file we have done processing last time. Here. Okay, in this root, all the Hadoop directory inside that file1.txt was there. Fine. And the output directory, what we have given output directory, another directory. I think this was the output. No. Output directory is what we are given in user or all the Hadoop. This was output directory, right? Okay. Now all the Hadoop output, I am going to give output directory here. Fine. Okay. Next step is what? Go to the IDE. We have made one partitioner class. Once again, what happens? So based on the key, it divides the key. If key length is 1, that goes to one partitioner. So basically what will happen? It will generate partitioner like this. So let me tell you, it will generate partition like this. Okay, so let me just run this. First of all, I need to make jar file. For that, right click, clean and build. Now it's making jar file. If any error is there, it will give me some error. Let's see that. Okay, now you see the jar file has been created at this path. This partitioner class, extra class is there. Next step is what? To run this. So from where do we run? cd bin Okay, and here we have run the last program. Yes, Hadoop jar. Where is I think the same uh, jar file in the driver code. What file.txt that I want to process in file.txt. Hi, how are you, user? Let me open file.txt here from the local file system so that you can see. It's taking time. Just hold on. Why my local file system is not opening? Okay, let me open that file from here. Where is my file? File is in home directory. cd tile and file.txt. We have file.txt cat clear. Okay, hi, how are you? How is your job? How is your family? What is time now? What is strength of Hadoop? This text we are giving. Now, hi, it goes to where it goes in second partition. How goes in where third? R goes in third, IU goes in third partition. Okay, is again second partition. Your it will go to the last partition because we have not given the program for your. You see, what is your here? Your length is what? More than 4. It goes to third number, fourth number partition. Actually, partition start with 0. So that's why. Like that. Strength, Hadoop. Anyway. So what I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to run on this file and all the Hadoop, the output directory I need to define. So it's in root. Last time we forgot the root. All the Hadoop, all partition. Let me give file name as all partition. Okay, let me run this. Let's see, are we getting any error or not? Okay, it's running. Okay, so there are so many statistics are there. But let's check the first output here. Okay, first of all, let me refresh. Okay, we can see the output directory here. It's been created. Click. How many partition has been created? You see, partition 0. What was the logic for partition? First partition. The length has to be 1. So there are no keywords with length 1. So there are no words here. What is the next? Next partition. Its size is 15 bytes. Let's see what's there. You see, high, is, and off. Both are 2 words. Next. Okay, are, how, job. Now you again all are three words. And the next partition, last one, where all other words, those who length we have not written a logic, that other words will go here. Your, time, strength, family. Okay, so this is where we can divide the output, so that our logic part, next whatever logic we want to do, it will be reduced. So this is how partition will work. Okay, so part hyphen r. So part, why hyphen r is there? Because reducer, the reducer output, that's why. Okay, and let's see the logs first of all. Yeah, there are so many things are there. Is any shuffle error is there or not? Maybe it is frameworks. So how many input record are there? Output records are there. Output bytes are there. Everything it will give. Okay, and everything you see map 100% 100% completed successfully. Now you see it has tried to attempt create the partition here. Okay, same way for 2 also, same way for 1 also. Okay, so these are the logs. A lot of things you can read it from here. Now I hope you understood this partitioner logic. Now, what is my question is, how many maximum partitioner we can get from this output? Can you answer me? So I'll be giving you 3 minutes time or 4 minutes time. I need answer how many maximum partition we can get. Once again, how many maximum partition we can get? You can see from this. You can just see this and just you let me know, write down in chat box. Okay, just your guess or your logic. So after 3 minutes, let me know. Okay, write down chat box. Better write down in chat box here. Yes, Nidhi, very good. So total how many partition? So total how many? 99,999. Very good, Nidhi. 1 lakh. You see, 0 is again considered as a partition. Okay, so it starts with 0. So that's why total 1 lakh partition will be able to create. The 1 lakh partition will be able to create. That is a limit. That is the limit of reducer. The reducer can create up to 1 lakh partition. Okay. Fine. So everyone got it, this partitioner program? Nidhi says yes. What about others? Apart from Nidhi, anyone? So yeah, I think others are what just taken this subject and you don't want to do this coding work, and that's why you see there are a lot of demand of programmer because very few likes to do some programming. Okay, so let's have some 5 minutes break. After that, we'll start one more topic, that is combiner and what is that? Data compression of Hadoop. Okay, So let me take 5 minutes break here, and let's see the combiner and data compression topic in Hadoop. Okay. So I'll be in mute mode. Any doubt, anything, you write down in chat box. Yes. So Nidhi asked the question that, sir, can you brief us regarding the myths and syllabus and type of question that can be asked? So yeah, I wanted to show you, but you see, actually the files folder is not working right now. Uh, so I cannot show you the syllabus right now, but as per the GTO syllabus, there are total three chapters. Total three chapters are there. Okay? For the GTO syllabus, it's total three chapters. So first one is a simple basic introduction. Second one is this Hadoop SDFS. Third one is uh, NoSQL. So tomorrow I'll be completing this SDFS chapter, and next week again we'll have time. So next week we'll see this NoSQL chapter, and I will also possibly I will show you the MongoDB also. It's not there in syllabus, but I will show you. Fine. So I think when is our exam of big data? I think on 23rd or 22nd, 24th. We have a lot of time, so we'll be able to complete our syllabus till three chapters. We have syllabus. Okay. So my files are not working right now. The folder, so I cannot open and I cannot show you. I mean, um, otherwise I would have shown you the GTU question paper also. But keep it tomorrow. So Nidhi, if you can remind me tomorrow. Remind me that, sir, we need the syllabus and how the question asks. I'll show you from the Windows file system, right? Okay. So let's come to the next topic. Just now we have seen the partitioner. Okay, very important point, that partitioner, how we can implement. I've shown you the running also, the code also. And now next topic is combiner. Okay. What is combiner? I think you can see, right? Or let me zoom. Okay, what is combiner? Also known as a semi-reducer. Very, very important. In exam, they may ask you the question, what is semi-reducer or mini-reducer or mini-reducer. So this combiner is known as a mini-reducer. So what is the task of reducer? Is to, based on the logic, it combines the output, right? It is a task of reducer. So what is the task of this combiner? Now we are going to see. Is an optional class that operated by accepting the input from map class, thereafter passing the output key value pass to reducer class. So just hold on, give me 1 minute time. Just hold on. Yes, everyone. Sorry for this interruption. So yeah, what I was telling that what I was telling that we are seeing the combiner. Okay, so combiner is known as a semi-reducer as well as mini reducer, and you see, it's known as a what optional class because we are not forcing. I mean, it's not compulsory to put in our program. Okay, it's optional. Fine. So again, it sits between where now you see it's written here. It sits between input from the map class. Okay, and after that we need to put combiner. Okay, we need to put combiner. So it's a input from the map class will go to the combiner, and then combiner will do some logic. That's what I'm going to tell you. Combiner will do some logic, and we'll get again that output will go to the reducer. Okay, let me draw here so that you can understand. Fine. So we have this mapper class. Mapper, and here what usually it was giving me, I mean in between we have this reducer. Between we have combiner, sorry, combiner, and after that reducer will come. After the reducer will come. Okay. So it's an optional class. Even if we don't put combiner is not required. Okay. Yeah. So whatever output is there from mapper output, it will take as input, and combiner will give us output to reducer. The main function of combiner is to summarize the map output records with the same key. The output key value collection, the combiner will send over the network to the actual reducer task as input. Now, what is the logic of combiner? Why we require combiner? Because now you see, let's say we have terabytes of data or gigabytes of data, and all the whatever mappers will process it, we are sending where we are sending to reducer. We are sending to reducer. Now, how we are sending it to reducer? Over the network, over our local LAN. Over the network, we are sending all the mappers output to reducer input. Now you see we have gigabytes of data, and all the gigabytes of data goes to mapper and it processes. We may generate some less gigabytes of data. We may generate data, I think data, equivalent gigabytes of data. What happens next? What happens next? That uh, it will occupy our network bandwidth. It will occupy network bandwidth badly. It will occupy our network bandwidth badly. Okay, and due to that, uh, what we are supposed to do? How do we reduce the network bandwidth? The same mapper output we are sending over to LAN to the reducer, and due to this network bandwidth is occupying. What we can do? We can introduce combiner. Combiner will what will do? It will process. It will reduce the task of reducer. I mean, it will work as a reducer only. It will work as a reducer only. Okay, and it will process some output, process some input from the mapper, okay, and it will manage. I mean, it will reduce the network traffic. Okay, how it happens? How it does? Okay. Fine. Let's see here. Okay, so use between the map class and reduce class to reduce the volume of data transfer between map and reduce. So volume of data, if you want to reduce, we can use the combiner. So usually the output of the map task is large and data transfer to the reduced task is high. The map task output of the map task is large. Output of the map task is large. Okay, and the data transfer the reducer task is high. So following mapability star diagram show combiner fails. Now you see how many mappers we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mappers we have. So every 7 mappers generates key value per key value per key value per like that. Combiner phase will come in between here and it will just group the keys. Now you see here K1 value, K1 value, K2 value, K1 value, K1 value, K1 value, K2 value, K1 value, K1 value, K2 value. Now what it generates key as a it key is the text, right? You see key will be our text. Let me write down here. Here it will be okay. Yeah. So our key in our program key is what? It's like hi comma 1, then how comma 1, then is comma 1. These are the keys. Okay. So yeah, you see key in this mapper it generates hi comma 1. It generates how comma 1 is key is comma. Another mapper it generates again hi comma 1 because there is a more what is there hi comma 1. I mean another computer it generates again how comma 1. Now what we do here, it based on the key value it groups it. So it combiner will do what it will do. It groups the based on the key value. What is the key value here? High, comma. Okay, you see one is here again high. So it will put 1, comma 1. You see key value value value. Again here. Okay, I'm making mistake here. It's not combining this mapper. It's combining in one mapper only. So let me give example. High comma 1 comes again. Here high comma 1 comes. Okay, then sorry. How is comma 1? Let's keep it like that. So here and again here let me write down how comma 1 again comes. So what it will do in this mapper, combiner will do what? In this mapper, it will combine these two. So this mapper does not need to transfer this additional thing. Okay, it has to transfer this one only. Again, in this mapper, it will combine like this. High, let's say high comes only one time. How comes 2 times? Okay, how comes 2 times? So it combines all these things. How based on the key value? What is common key value? How based on this common key value it combines, gives, generates the output. Okay. So same way based on the key value it groups the output, and then it gives the reducer, and then reducer task is what? To combine this high. How many times high comes? And again it combines this one also. So how many times high comes? High comes 3 times. So that is a phase of what? Reducer. I comma 3. Okay. And then again is comma 1 and how comma 2. Now this is our assumption data. Real data will be very very large. Okay. Fine. Have you understood this combiner logic? Everyone understood the combiner logic? Yes or no? Only Nidhi is answering. What about others? Others are here for time pass or what? Just for attendance. In mid semester, if you are not writing or if you are not mentioning all these things, there won't be any marks. Remember, everyone. Fine, I will assume no one is answering that everyone understood this thing. So, combiner, what it does, once again, it sits between mapper and reducer. Okay. It sits between mapper and reducer, and then what it does, combiner will reduce the workload of reducer. Okay. How it gets the input from mapper, combines something like based on a key value as shown here in presentation, and this reduced data is sent to reducer so that we can have less network overload. Okay. Okay, how combiner works? This is the theory part. Is combiner does not have a predefined interface. It must implement the reducer interface reduced method. Now, how combiner implements? There is no code for combiner, but just one line is there. One line is there for combiner. Our program, our Hadoop framework will understood that okay, they are written for combiner, and I need to introduce combiner. So a combiner operates on each map output key. It must have same output key value type as a reducer class. A combiner can produce summary information from the large data set because it replaces original mapping. So it's written here, combiner is optional yet it helps segregating data into multiple groups for reducer, which makes it easier to process. So it's reducing the reducer task, simple. Okay, now example is given. This is our input file. What do you mean by object? Java virtual, Java enable high performance, like that. Okay, so record reader, it gives output like this. Record reader gives output 1, comma, what do you mean by object? 2, comma, entire line. What do you mean about Java? Third, what is Java virtual machine? Fourth, how Java enable high performance. How map phase will give us output? This is the record reader output, right? So mapper class, it takes word and counts. How many times what comes? 1, do comes 1, u comes 1, mean comes 1, y comes 1, object comes 1. Okay. What comes 1, do 1, you know about 1, and like this. Combiner will do what? Combiner, and now you see, we just need to put combiner class here. That's it. So combiner will just combine this. Now you see, this happens in one block only. So combiner will work like this. In another block, it will perform independently. So this is for one block because this data will come in a one block only. So what comes, you see 3 times. So it combines what? 1, 2, 3. Do comes 2 times. 2, 1, 2. Yeah, here. U comes 1, 1. Mean comes 1 by object, like this. This is combiner output. And combiner output goes, and a reducer, it will just calculate how many times 1 is there, 3 times. How many times 1 is there? 2 times. How many times 1 is there? 2 times, like that. This is my reducer, and then record writer. Record writer, what will do? It will write all this output in a file. Okay. Now let's see the program directly. So in program, we are not supposed to do anything. We are just supposed to introduce combiner. So job, where is that? Job.set combiner class. Okay. So let me go to the program. I think my screen is not visible, the programming screen. So let me show you our code. So in this code, in driver class, if we want to introduce combiner, what we need to do? You see, what is our reducer class? This one, this one. So inside, in between this mapper and reducer class, I'm going to introduce job dot set combiner class. You see, which class we are going to give? The same way, reducer class. What is the reducer class? This one, reduce. Okay, let me just get a help from ID. Whether, yeah, reducer classes. Sorry, it's a reduce word. Reducer word class, right? So why? Because combiner will work on each and every mapper. Remember. So there are 4 mappers. Now let me show you once. I think the combiner will work on each and every mapper. That's why for each and every individual mapper, we have. Sorry, I'm not showing. Yeah. So combiner will work on each and every individual mapper. So we have for each and individual mapper class, we have combiner. Okay. You see, for this mapper, we have one combiner. For this mapper, we have one combiner. This mapper, we have one combiner. This mapper, we have one combiner. Like that. How many input splits we have? Let's say we have 4 input splits. So how many mappers will have? 4 mappers. And how many combiners will be there? 4 combiners. Very, very important. Once again, how many input splits we have? Let me write down here. How many input splits? 4. How many mapper? 4 input splits, that means 4 mapper. And how many combiners? This is a logical question. 4 combiners. 4 combiners. For each and every individual mapper, one combiner will work. So one combiner for one mapper, second combiner for second mapper, third combiner for third mapper. And then it gives us to reducer. Output gives to reducer. Anyway, so I hope you understood this thing. Okay, let's see the next topic, that is compression. Now, compression is what? Compression is we are reducing the file size. The compression. What is the use of, first of all, compression? Is to reduce the size of any file. Let's say you are doing WinRAR. Okay. Or you might have used some another compression technique. What they do? They compress the file. They compress the file. Okay. So that if we give compressed out file to our Hadoop, it will reduce the our network traffic and reduce the space also. That is again right. Okay. So how it happens? So it's a compression is a theory topic only. Yeah, practical is there. With this one line we can apply compression. With this one line we can apply compression. But in a books is given. I will upload the book today or tomorrow. Tomorrow also remind me if I am not uploading the book in e-content. Okay, for all of you. So compression is what? It's a 2 major benefit. What are the benefits? It reduces the space needed to store files and speed up the data transfer across the network or to or from disk. And when dealing with a large volume of data, both of these savings can be significant. So it pays to carefully consider how to use compression in Hadoop. So 2 benefits, once again, reduce the space, and second, speed up data transfer across the network to or from the disk. What to compress? So input file we can compress. Input file we can compress. So input file if we compress and while reads in from HDFS is reduced. So whatever input we are getting from HDFS, it will be reduced. So which means less time to read, and it will increase the efficiency of the job. Okay. So time is crucial because we are dealing with gigabytes and terabytes of data. So time is crucial. We need to get output within very short time. That's why big data technique is there. Okay. And again, data transferring and this only data transfer takes a lot of time. Then it's not efficient. We may not be able to perform our job properly. So that is why compression technique is there. Okay. Next one is execution. So it's a magic of Hadoop. Magic of Hadoop means if the input files are compressed, they will be decompressed automatically as they are read by MapReduce. So that is why compression is supported in Hadoop. Once we give compressed version of file to our HDFS, at the time of processing, our MapReduce will decompress it automatically. Okay, it reads from the MapReduce using the file name extension to determine which codec to use. So based on the extension, so let's say the GZ extension is given to a file, that file it receives. Based on this extension, it decodes. For example, file ending in .gz can be identified as a gzip compressed file and thus read with gzip codec. Okay, next we are compressing what input file. We can also compress the output file. So we want to transfer this output file where we want to transfer output file to somewhere else, so that compression is required, so that it occupies a less network bandwidth. Okay. Once again, some history files. History files means some files are there which are like very. We need to put after analysis. We need to put in some folder for archive folder, and at that time also we can put in a one file. We can compress it and put it in a file. And we can also compress the map output. Why map output? Because you see the mapper gives us the output, and it has to go to reducer, right? It has to go to reducer, and there are gigabytes and terabytes of data. Then what happens? It will take time to transfer all the mapper output to the reducer. So it will take time to transfer all the outputs, mapper output to the reducer. Okay. So that is why we can also compress the mapper output, and reducer will understand automatically. So let's read this. It reads uncompressed data. It may benefit from compressing the intermediate output of the map phase, since the map output is written to disk and transferred across the network to the reducer node. By using the fast compression such as LZO or Snappy, you can get performance gains simply because the volume of data to transfer is reduced. So common input formats are what? These are common input formats supported: gzip, bzip2, LZO, Snappy. So gzip tool is this. It uses the deflate algorithm. It uses file action dot gz. Splittable, no. Why splittable? You see, once data comes to where data comes to our mapper, I mean, when we put data into HDFS, output this will be reduced. I mean, sorry, this output will be splitted to block size. What is the block size? 64 MB. Let's say 64 MB. So mapper will be, sorry, data will be partitioned into that block size. Okay. So if we are providing gzip input of file, it's not splittable. We may not be able to process it. But bzip2 format, it's a splittable. Okay, it uses the bz2 file extension and it's splittable. We have LZO compression format. It uses LZOP. Algorithm is LZO and .LZO extension is uses. And yes, if indexed. If it is splittable, if we do provide indexing. We have one more compression format, that is Snappy. Okay, Snappy algorithm and extension is .snappy, and no, it's not splittable. Okay. So regarding all the compression formats is written, gzip is naturally supported by Hadoop. gzip is based on the deflect algorithm, which is a combination of LZ77 and Huffman coding. Okay. So you might be studying all these things in I think in a DA. You might have studied in Huffman coding and other things. I'm not sure, but Huffman coding comes in a design analysis of algorithm. Okay, bzip2 is a freely available pattern-free algorithm, high-quality data compressor. Okay, it's typically compress a file within 10%, 50% of best available technique. And while being around twice as fast as compression, 6 times faster decompression. LZO compression format is composed of many smaller blocks of compressed data, allowing jobs to be split among blocks boundaries. Okay, and moreover, it was designed with the speed in mind. It decompresses data about twice as fast as gzip. Okay, meaning it's fast enough to keep up the hard drive read speed. So LZO is faster, but it doesn't compress well as gzip. Okay, compression ratio is not good compared to gzip. Gzip here is a good one. Okay, and still 20 to 50% of the size of files without any compression at all. Snappy here is a compression decompression library. It does not aim for maximum compression. Okay, with any other compression library, instead it aims for very high speed and reasonable compression. So all these algorithms, they have some trade-off. Some have advantage and some have trade-off. What is the trade-off? Some are very fast but less compression ratio. Some are very slow but good compression ratio. Okay. So Snappy is a very fast but very less compression ratio. Okay. Now it's written here on a single core of i7 processor in 64-bit mode. Snappy compresses at about 250 MB per second or more and decompresses at about 500 MB per second or more. So compression ratio is 250 MB per second and decompresses 500 MB per second. So you see, we are getting lot of data. So that's why this ratio is again important. Okay. Yeah, and so what I told you is some trade-off are there. All compression algorithm exhibits some space-time trade-off. Faster compression and decompression speed usually come with the expense of smaller space saving. So if we apply faster compression, we have smaller space. I mean, it will not, it will occupy space. Okay, I mean, less space. The two listed in above table typically give some control over this trade-off at compression time by offering 9 different options. 1 means optimize for speed and 9 means optimize for space. Okay. So some algorithms statistics are given. gzip is a general purpose compressor. It sits between middle of space and time trade-off. bzip2 is a more effectively than gzip but slower. bzip2 decompression speed is faster than its compression speed, but still slower than other formats. LZO and Snappy on the other hand optimize for speed. Okay. Anyway, you can read it. I will give this document to you, no problem. Okay, what is the issue about compression and input shift? It's very important to read. When considering how to compress data that will be processed by MapReduce, it is important to understand whether the compression format supports splitting. As I told you, whenever you put data into the file, it splits the data. Whenever we give data to SDFX, it splits the data. Okay. So whether compression supports splitting, consider an uncompressed file stored in SDFS whose size is 1 GB. SDFS block size 64 MB, right? So file, what if we divide 1 GB data into 64 MB block? There will be 16 blocks. And as a MapReduce job, it will create how many input split? 16 input split. So each process independently has an input to a separate map task. Now, this gzip compress, if we apply 1 GB, okay. So gzip supports splits or not? Let's see here. gzip, it doesn't support, it's not splittable. Okay. So creating a split for each block won't work since it's impossible to start reading at an arbitrary point the gzip stream, and therefore impossible for a map task to read it split independently on the others. So map task will not be able to read it as in the gzip format. I mean, it's readable, but all the data goes to one mapper only. Entire 1 GB data goes to one mapper only. It won't be able to partition from that point. It won't be able to partition. Okay. So deflate, it depends upon deflate this algorithm. Deflate, so that has a series of compressed blocks. And the problem is that the start of each block is not distinguished in any way that would allow a reader position at any arbitrary point in the stream to advance to beginning of the next block. Okay. Fine. So anyway, the point is that gzip does not support splitting. So entire 1 GB of block will go to only one mapper. Our mapper will not be able to divide into 16 different blocks. That is the point I wanted to convey to you. So if we are using LZO file, the same problem. Okay. Again, LZO, it uses indexing tool. Okay, so if we are using indexing tool, then we can split it. So what's the problem of splitting here? The problem of splitting is that when we split and when we want to merge, how do we merge? Which data to merge? Because all these are in a compressed format. So in order to merge, we have to merge it serial fashion. Okay. So if we have given indexing to the this LZO programs, then at the time of merging, it will give us the proper output. Okay. If indexing is not there, LZO will not. So yeah, bzip2 file also provides synchronization marker between blocks. Okay, and it supports smart splitting. So BZip 2 is slower, but it's good. So what is IO bound and CPU bound? So storing completed in HDFS allow your hardware allocation to go further since compressed data is often 25% of the size of original data. Okay. So let's say original data is 100%, then compressed data will be 20% size. So MapReduce jobs are IO bound. Storing compressed data means there is a less overall IO to do. Okay. Meaning job run faster. Simple. If we apply compression, jobs runs faster. But there are two caveats here. What are the two caveats? Some compression format cannot be split or parallel processing, and others are slow enough at decompression that jobs become CPU bound, eliminating your gains on IO. Okay, so some compressions are like very slow. So gzip compression format is the first caveat. What was the first caveat? It cannot be split for parallel processing. So imagine we have 1.1 GB gzip file. Cluster has 120 MB of block size. So this file will be split into 9 chunks of size approximately 120 MB. In order to process this in parallel in MapReduce job, a different mapper will be responsible for each chunk. But this means that the second mapper will start on arbitrary byte of about 120 MB into a file. Okay, so this is not possible. As I told you, 120 MB. If you try to divide that compressed format into 120 MB, second mapper where it has to start, which input is it has to take, it gets lost. It gets completely lost. So using gzip, it's not possible to partition into 120 MB of block. Whereas bzip2, it's again it goes to second caveat. What is second caveat? That here. Some compression format cannot be split for parallel process. Others are slow enough. You see, second caveat. Others are slow enough at decompression that job becomes CPU bound, eliminating your gains on IO. So decompression algorithm is slow and cannot keep up with the streaming disk to read. So decompression is slow. So if we are planning some streaming like data keeps coming, and we have to give output. So at that time, it will be difficult. Okay, this bzip2 will be difficult to apply. Okay. So summary is what? So data is mostly stored and not frequently processed. So we have to use some compression. So compression factor is very high, and therefore we have to save a lot of IO. Decompression is very fast, like Snappy. Therefore, we have some gain with little price. Data already arrived compressed. So why we are not compressing the data? What are the reasons? Compressed data is not splittable. Have to be noted that many modern formats are built with block level compression to enable splitting and other partial processing of the file. Data is created in the cluster and decompression takes significant time. Have to note that compression usually much more CPU intensive than decompression. So compression it occupies your CPU space, not space, lot of processing. It occupies lot of CPU processes. Okay, and data is little redundancy in compression gives little gain. So what we have covered once again, in summary, we have covered this compression ratio. It's very important in Hadoop. Some compressions are splittable. That means with a mapper, it splits the data and we can have some faster processing. Some compressions are not splittable, but they are faster. So what do you use, what to not to use based upon our data. If we are streaming data, we are not supposed to use this L0 bzip2 because they are slower. Okay, but we can use this gzip, but gzip will occupy, I mean, it's a slower. Okay, it's a compression ratio is faster, but it becomes CPU bar. It will occupy our CPU a lot more than the other format. Okay, so we have covered three topics actually: partitioner, combiner, and data compression in Hadoop. Okay, I think one or two small topics are still left in Hadoop that we'll cover in a next tomorrow lecture, and if possible, we'll start NoSQL also tomorrow. Fine. So here, let me stop this Hadoop because we have done all these things. Now it's I think I need to go to SBIN. So first we are stopping all the services gradually so that it won't create any problem next time. JPS, no services. Let me exit. Let me exit from here also. Okay. Let me stop this. I mean, let me exit the ID also. Fine. So everyone write down number with your class name. So we can conclude our session here. Tomorrow we'll proceed further with some more topics. Okay, I hope everyone has written their numbers here. Fine. Let me stop recording. Stop presentation. Stop recording also.